really want to talk about wrestling. And I mean, I'm going to talk about various things besides that. I'm going to start doing this with this channel. Be very careful how I do it because I don't want to get... I know a lot of people do videos and stuff like that, but I'm still kind of leery about the whole YouTube finding content creators and stuff like that. Man, I'm breaking out. I gotta figure out how I'm breaking out. But anyway, but yeah, so I'm gonna talk about wrestling. I might talk about Marvel here and there. Of course, I'm gonna talk about Power Rangers because that's what they have reboot and everything like that. What else? Star Wars from if I catch something, which I did actually. Believe it or not, well, the Mandalorian is cool, but Andor, I think that's the one that got canceled if I'm not mistaken. I actually enjoyed that. Was it that one? Or was it that the Apostles? I think that's the one would start with an A. I think I'm butchering that name, but I think that's the one that got canceled. I actually saw that. That was pretty cool. But anyway, but back to wrestling. Okay, so this is what I'm very tired of is these long title reigns. And I'm going to make some points when I say this. And I hope I'm not trying to make this video too long because it's going to be editing and stuff like that. But I'm going to try to be careful with my words so I don't have to do a lot of editing. But what I'm trying to say is, when I first started watching wrestling was 1998. But I was very choppy. It wasn't like I was continuously watching it. But I loved WrestleMania 2000. I love No Mercy. And those two games are very cliche-ish. But I had a Nintendo 64. So them are the two games that I knew about. I knew about the SmackDown games from PlayStation and stuff like that, which I wanted a PlayStation at the time, which I'm kind of glad I stayed with Nintendo. But I had WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy. And I remember my dad bought WrestleMania 2000 for me. It was a little after Christmas. I saw it in the catalog. It was a Toys R Us catalog. My dad took me out there and he bought me this game. He didn't have to, but he did. It's like in video games like $50. Well, it was $49.99, $50. He went and bought it for me, no questions asked. He actually did, and I played that game. It was WrestleMania 2000. This is back in '99, going into 2000, and like I'm 9-10 years old. It was that game and then Star Wars Racer. That was my two games. And Cruising World. Them were my games. People probably don't remember Vigilante 8. But this is getting way sidetracked. But the point is, I knew about The Rock, Triple H, and I knew about how the titles changed. It was so funny, actually. Austin 316, The Undertaker, Kane, all these guys, Jericho. I even knew about Goldberg and Sting, and I didn't even watch WCW. Like, I went to one WCW event in Saginaw, Michigan, and I remember Kevin Nash getting his butt kicked. I can't remember about who, but I remember they was beating his butt. And I don't know if I know it was a live event, because I remember that was the first time I seen a Titantron. I might have lied. I think I did see a WCW event. I might have lied. I'm going to think about that. I think I did see a WCW event, but didn't know what I was really watching. Because I know it was so different from WWF. But anyway, we knew that titles moved around quite a bit, even in WCW, even with the Hogan Reign of Terror. But my official, I'm talking about like staying on it until this day, was fall 2002. Because I never forget, my mom was getting her nails done. And I'm a hardcore Dragon Ball Z fan. I guess I just make this an introduction to my wrestling, video, I guess. So I'll never forget this Asian guy. And I'm hardcore in Dragon Ball Z because I remember I had brought something in. It was a Dragon Ball Z magazine. So he talked to me a little bit about Dragon Ball Z, and he knew, he was a really good fan of it. And I remember at the nail salon, because I was talking to the guy because he was doing my mom's nails, and she just let us talk. It kept the time, going past. And this guy, to this day, it was very interesting. And I'll never forget, he looked at the TV and said, "Do you watch wrestling?" And I said, sometimes. And he said, "You see that guy right there? This is the first time I saw Brock Lesnar." It was summers. I'll never forget. It was a hot summer day. I'll just never forget it. And he goes, "Well, they got this big pay-per-view coming up, SummerSlam, if you ever heard of that." And he said, "Well, this guy right here, you know about The Rock." I said, "Of course. Who doesn't know about The Rock?" I said, "You can't, of course, know about Rock, Austin, and all those guys." He said, "Well," he says, "well, you should check this event out." He goes, I ended up missing it because I didn't even know about pay-per-views like that, so I end up missing it anyway. But to the point, he goes, that guy Brock Lesnar right there. He said, I remember he never said it. He said, that's Brock Lesnar. You know, he's a big boy. And he goes, he's going to be something. Keep a lookout for him. He's going to be something. And I remember I looked and I said, that guy, I said, this is kind of scary because I knew about The Rock. I knew how he was the most, this guy was, he won titles, you know, he beat Austin, he beat Austin from time to time. Austin mostly had his number, and Triple H always having his number sometimes, but I knew The Rock was The Rock, you know. I said, no, I think The Rock got this. And he said, I don't know. Well, anyway, a couple months later, my uncle ended up moving in with us. And I remember it was a Thursday, and I ended up seeing Brock Lesnar again. And I remember him picking up the Big Show. And I'm like, I've never seen nobody pick up the Big Show. You know, I knew that because, of course, the Big Show was in Jingle All the Way. I love that movie. And I just know who doesn't know the Big Show? I should have had included him that I knew a Big Show, but now, but I'm like, I seen him pick him up over his shoulders, and that particular day, I've been watching wrestling. I mean, because of Brock Lesnar, really, I was like, wow. The Rock was kind of gone because I was looking for The Rock, but come to find out he was kind of out for a while because he talked about him on TV here and there, and some of the guys I asked him, I had a couple of friends that still watch wrestling or who watch wrestling. And I asked him, I said, what happened to The Rock? Oh, he said, he gone for a while. He's in Hollywood doing a movie. And then that's when I remember the Scorpion King. 'Cause I do remember they talked about the Scorpion King and stuff. And it's not like I was oblivious to wrestling, because I had a couple of friends who talked about wrestling, and we did wrestling outside and stuff like that. Because I was always Triple H for some odd reason. But I like Triple H. I like the pedigree, you know. He was one of my favorites. Actually, Triple H was actually really my first favorite wrestler. And I'm not talking about the nonsense he doing today, because I'm a cut into Triple H. I'm sorry. But he really was my first, really, I know people are going to say, The Rock and Austin. I like The Rock. I like and Stone Cold Steve Austin. But my real, true favorite was Triple H. It was always the game. And it's funny because I had Stone Cold everything. But my true favorite was Triple H. You know, the King of Kings, and with China. And I'm just surprised that I really never kept watching wrestling on a continuation. Maybe it wasn't time. I wasn't ready. But I know my mom wouldn't let me stay up and watch Raw. It didn't matter about the taking the clothes off and stuff like that, because I was already watching movies like that anyway with my mother. You know, and I'm talking about like Chucky and Jason and Michael Myers. So that really, we wasn't really allowed. I don't know, funny. I could watch Jason, but I wasn't allowed to watch Michael Myers. It was so weird, but whatever. But yeah, so I was watching all these adult movies and stuff like that, so my mom let me watch it. Action movies. They were showing, stuff on TV, sexual content and stuff like that. But my mom always tell me that's fake. They're doing this pretend. So she kind of talks to me when stuff like that. So it wasn't like my mom was just like, oh, you can't watch that. Unless it was, except for Michael Myers, for some odd reason. Maybe Michael Myers scared my mom so much she just like, nope, we ain't watching it. But she watched Jason. I thought Friday the 13th, I thought it was weird. But anyway, my all-time favorite was Triple H. Then Brock Lesnar really got me into wrestling. I'm glad he did at that time, because I would have missed a Batista. I would have missed a Orton. I'm talking about in their rookie years. Of course, Brock Lesnar was in his rookie year. Cena, Rey Mysterio, coming off of WCW, Chavo, Eddie Guerrero. I'm like, I would have Kurt Angle. I would have I probably would have watched wrestling eventually, but it probably been like, I guarantee it would have been like an 04, 05, 06. I would have been late, but it was a good time. But I came in 2002. Now kind of was. I wish I'd have gotten wish I would have stayed watching wrestling consistently in the Attitude Era. That's on me. But I was too young. But I guess I guess that I got to see the last good era. But anyway, but back to the main topic at hand was that I am very sick and tired of these long, dragged out title reigns. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and I just think, and I love Roman Reigns. I thought I was with him, and on it by his side, even in the big dog era when everybody was booing him. And I don't know why, but the boos made his theme song sound even better, you know. But the Truth Reigns theme song. But anyway, it's just baffling to me that Roman Reigns, the 4-year historical championship reign, ended with Cody Rhodes. And I know people gonna say, "Oh, well, he had to finish his story." Well, Cody Rhodes can finish his story anytime. I still believe it was either Jey Uso or LA Nation took it from him. But the only problem I have, this is why I think Roman Reigns should have lost the title a couple times within that time. And they should have called it the Reign of Terror, Roman Reigns' Reign of Terror, like a Triple H, because Triple H didn't hold the belt that long. But the thing is, if the roster was probably a lot more, maybe I'm looking at this too deep, but if the roster was a lot more, okay, so like, we had Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, The Undertaker, Booker T. I'm talking about like post Attitude Era. You had Batista, John Cena. You had a couple of guys. I mean, I guess 2004 was kind of short on big names. But let's say 2002, 2001. I can see that happening. Like a Rock or Austin, Triple H doing something like that. Because the roster was very well-rounded. 2004, I don't think it would have worked. Well, it kind of did with JBL being the longest champion in SmackDown history. But it's like, okay, well, how far can we go with this? Maybe Roman Reigns could have dropped the belt in the middle. Maybe to an Edge, maybe to an Orton, maybe to a Lashley, because he was the Universal Heavyweight Champion anyway, so he could have dropped and had got it a couple of times. Maybe he could have dropped it to Finn Balor. Maybe they could have gave it to him a little bit to kind of break up a little bit. So when Cody Rhodes would have beat a Roman Reigns, it would have been like, all right. I actually would have accepted that a lot more. And a lot of people are going to look at me kind of funny because at least it would have made more sense story-wise. Well, because Roman Reigns already been champion once before. So it wasn't like the guy was champion before. So it's not, I mean, he held the WWE Championship. He held the Universal Championship, the red version, until he had to relinquish it. So he had been champion quite a few times. Him being a 4-year champion, maybe could have just did 2 years, and then he could have dropped it. He could have dropped the belt in 2022. Either he could have kept it from 2020 to 2022. He could have dropped it in 22. At least by 22, when he got it back late 22, early 23, could have dropped it again. And you can kind of build other talent like AJ Styles. You can kind of keep the title kind of rotating a little bit. Hot potato was cup certain people. And then when Roman Reigns, what should have happened, they could have literally kept the title on him like for 6 months. So Cody Rhodes could take it from him. Like I say 5 to 6 months. I say between 5.5, 6 months. He could have Cody Rhodes could have gotten the belt. Cody Rhodes could have went on a lengthy, because this is his first title reign, so you kind of want to make a little bit a big deal out of it. So I would have probably gave it like a 3 month, 4 month for Cody Rhodes, and then had him drop the belt. I know this is gonna sound crazy to Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa didn't have to have it that long. Could have had it for a couple of weeks, a month. Cody Rhodes could have got the belt back at SummerSlam. Solo Sikoa could have walked in the champion, a SummerSlam's champion. Cody Rhodes could have walked out champion. Then now we could have August, September, October, November, December. Now Cody Rhodes could still be champion. Now we could probably have Cody Rhodes stay champion until WrestleMania. I know it'll be a little bit long, but you get a little bit time. Now you have guys that you kind of already established. I mean, Vince kind of did that with Jack Swagger. He kind of did it with a couple of guys, especially with the World Championship. You already got and Seth Rollins having that year title reign. Okay, because that title was kind of new. So Seth Rollins had to build that prestige up. That's a little different. But there was a couple times he could have dropped that belt. Omos, I don't know what's going on with him. If something is wrong, majorly wrong, an injury or something, maybe the sideline, or maybe he had an injury. I don't know because I know I always know he disappeared. He could have been a threat. Lashley should have been a threat to Roman Reigns. Omos should have been really contending for that world title with Seth Rollins. I think Omos could have beaten Seth Rollins, and why I said it like that because I'm kind of still saying he's still a little green. So that could, and if Seth Rollins could have defeated Omos, it could have been by a technicality. Maybe for going back to Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, did he really need that belt again? Not really. Maybe Roman Reigns could have defeated Brock Lesnar with a technicality. Cody Rhodes, I don't know. I know Cody Rhodes wasn't really champion in SummerSlam 2023. Maybe they could have gave Cody Rhodes the title early before WrestleMania. Maybe they could have easily had Cody Rhodes defeat Roman Reigns at a random pay-per-view. Cody Rhodes getting the belt, beat Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Somehow Roman get it back, and then Cody get another shot at WrestleMania 40 by winning the Rumble again. There's so many scenarios, and a lot of people gonna say, "Well, why you devaluing the belt?" Not really. You actually, and I know that. Well, yes and no. You want to, you don't want to use the belt. Don't make the man makes the belt. But the problem is, you kind of want to, and I'm trying to be careful saying this, you kind of don't want to overdo it and underdo it. And you don't want to miss the boat when somebody's red hot. Sometimes they might not get the belt. Like Mr. Kennedy was over, but he never won the WWE Championship. Was that a good idea? Not really. John Cena back in 2006, 2007. I see his 2005 title reign, even though I say the Kurt Angle should have broken that title reign up a little bit. Batista and John Cena had these 200-day title reigns. Whatever. I guess it worked. But did Cena really need a whole year title run in 2006 going into 7? They could have easily gave the belt to Randy in 2007. We could have easily had a Cena versus Orton at WrestleMania 24, which should have happened. Triple H did not need to be in that match. That triple threat, Cena versus Orton versus Triple H should have had happened at No Way Out, 2008. Cena should have came out, kind of could be in there to be letting Orton know, like, yeah, I'm your next fight. Cena versus Orton. Orton should have defeated Cena the way it went, because Orton walked out of WrestleMania 24 as the winner, victorious, and still holding the WWE Championship. The age of Orton is still upon us. They was kind of doing some back and forth stuff. Then you had Edge versus Taker, WrestleMania 24, perfect story. I liked how they rotated the world title quite a bit around that time. Edge was one of those guys, and it was so funny. Edge was and Orton was I think it was Edge, mostly Edge. The title moved around quite a bit. Went from Batista to Edge to The Undertaker to, which I think Mark Henry should have been added to that mix. Kane, Great Khali. So you still had these guys rotating, don't know what happened to Great Khali, do not know what had happened to the Great Khali. I think because his legs or something, I think Vince kind of said, we keep you on TV, but we're going to have you do some stuff and job out to some people. Whatever. But it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how these long title reigns have really ruined a lot of guys. Austin Theory should have been in the mix. He beat John Cena. This would be the time Austin Theory should have been elevated. Him being in a tag team, I'm not really too upset about it because at least kept him something to do. He was tag team champion, but he at least beat John Cena. You don't beat John Cena, which has been a couple of cases, and just don't go nowhere. Not everybody can be champion. I get it. Rusev, he was championship material. But he was in the mid-card area. And like I said, it's hard for wrestling. I understand why people got their opinions about stuff, but some super characters it just might not be the time, or might be the right I don't care how red hot. And I know I'm kind of double talking on this one. Depending on the situation, the character and the storyline, sometimes being red hot might not be enough. You know, I know Vince McMahon does that quite a bit, but I don't know. But you can build stars kind of, I don't know. You know, I know I keep saying, I'm about to cut this part out. But ending the video, I wish they can just stop with the long title reigns for right now until they get a more well-rounded roster. And then you can start doing that again once you get a well-round roster. If you can get that, maybe in the future. But Roman Reigns 4 years was not really it. It was at the right guy, wrong time. But now we got to go through this Cody and him being a title champion for a year, and it's wrong with him a little bit at this point. But even though I stated out, him holding the belt is not a bad thing. It's just the way it was executed. And they was trying to pull the Daniel Bryan, Chris Benoit, the Cinderella story. That only happens for certain guys. Rey Mysterio, but that only happens for certain guys. The timing was not there. Cody Rhodes could have won the title at WrestleMania. He could have won the title earlier. But what do you guys think?